Hey, thank you so much for joining me for my next episode of Creativeness. I have the amazing Emily Coupe on. I met Emily in Los Angeles. I honestly don't remember which set we were on when we met, but I am so glad that I did meet her because she's a beautiful soul. Not only does she do acting, but she has a whole music career, beautiful voice. She does some modeling, acting. She's just killing it right now. So I wanted to have her. I want to have her on and share her tips with you guys because she is amazing. So without further ado, here is Emily Coupe.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me on, Laura.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. What is your first creative tip for everybody out there?
Sure, so my first one is specific to songwriting. It's funny because over the years I've come up with new ways to get inspired for music. But I used to write with lyrics first, but these days I've been writing with melody first, or actually with a guitar riff first. So usually what I do, I've just been experimenting with like different positions on the guitar with like the capo and different chords and weird chord progressions and stuff, and that's been what has really helped create the past few songs which I've written. So I'd say that's my songwriting tip. So,
yeah, I love that, kind of like getting out of your element and writing something different than what you imagined to start off the creative process. I love that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
very nice.
Exactly.
Okay, what is your second creative tip for us?
Okay, so my second creative tip, and this is actually for cleaning, because I don't like cleaning, but I love the feeling of it after it's clean. So what I like to do is like, it's obvious, like put on music and whatever, but I don't know about you, but when I first wake up, I have more energy and I feel inspired to do more physical things. So what I do is I like bam a bunch of cleaning things like all at once, and I've got music on or I'm calling somebody, and then that's it. Like I do everything in one chunk.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's creative, but I try to do creative things at the same time. Like I'd be listening to my music or like other people's music, or might talk to my boyfriend or whatever. So yeah.
So that's kind of like a combined tip, like almost like your space, the time, like you kind of get everything done in like one morning chunk, right? Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Like exactly. And the next point I'll make actually is being creative with time management. I think I'm really good at that.
Yeah, you are really good at that. You are if you don't know Emily, she is the busiest person and she's so good at scheduling things and so good at, you work at your art every day, which is something that I admire of you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And you are really good at time management. What is your tip about time management to everyone who may not be good at time management?
So my system is very intricate, and so what I use my calendar a lot. Like I schedule everything in my calendar, and I always move things around, and I put reminders for everything. Like literally from showering to like weighing myself and eating, like meditating, like every single thing in my day which I want to repeat, I do. Just so that I don't have to think about it. I think it's that whole thing of like Steve Jobs wears the same outfit every day, and he does that just because it's one less thing he needs to think about. So if I plan out my day, it's already planned out. I don't have to like reinvent the wheel every single day. I know what my basic outline for my day is, and for me this is a perfect day. I want to like work out, I want to meditate, I want to do the singing practice, my accent practice, guitar practice. I want to write a song. I want to any projects I have. I want to do like study music marketing. I want to do some acting work. I want to do acting marketing. And then that's like, they're the main things. If I can tick those boxes off, that's great. But then like those things always take longer than what I think. And then you have little things like you have an audition, or you have a Skype, or you have a phone call, or you have projects you have to complete, and that like squeezes into that. But the hardest thing I find to do is, it's a whole thing of like things which aren't urgent but are important, like to practice, or actually I've been studying Spanish, so I try to do that every day. And as a book, I haven't actually read, but the theory behind the book is what I kind of go by, which is, and the book's called Eat That Frog, meaning like do the worst thing first in the day, just so you can get it over and done with. So yeah, so I'd say just having the discipline and having a good organizational calendar system which can help you organize your time in a tangible, physical way is good.
I love that because like sometimes we like practicing isn't like a thing that people are wanting you to do, but how are you gonna get better if you don't put practice on your calendar, you know? And that's huge because a lot of us are like, oh, I want to be a singer, I want to be an actor, but if you're not practicing every day, then how are you supposed to compete with people who are? So I love that's in your calendar and that you do that.
It's insane. It was funny. My acting coach said to me a couple of days ago, he said, like, don't work hard, work the hardest. You need to work the hardest, not just hard, because just by working, he's like, everybody works hard, but to succeed at what you want to do, you have to work the hardest. That's how LeBron James did it. That's how Kobe Bryant did it. Like, you need to apply the same discipline that athletes have to your craft. I believe, because it's a muscle. It's like writing's a muscle, acting's a muscle, singing's a muscle. Like, right, yeah. So it's an artistic muscle.
Yeah, I love it. I think that acting, sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just an actor. This is what I love to do. And it's like, no, you have to practice at it every day because it is a sport. It is something that's competitive. Can you talk about like how competitive it really is out there? And you are kind of in the hot spot in LA and you talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, I think if I bet, like, me looking out the window now, half of these people are actors who like these houses. So just by pure sheer number of everybody's an actor, like there's that. But then not everyone's good. Not everyone is serious, you know. So it's like, but then there's a lot of people who are like, you know, really successful. So, I mean, it's just a numbers game, really, and it's about doing the work. It's about being smart and learning and having good reps, like representation, who can vouch for you, having a marketing plan for yourself to contact buyers. Like, I'm doing a great marketing course right now on acting. It's called the Actors Fast Track, which I love. So I'm doing that. Then, like, you know, with training representation, I think like you need a good system, like a good team, and you need a good strategy toward approaching it. Because it's not just the art, it's not just the marketing. You need both.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that is huge. You need both to be successful. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'd say 50-50. You need a bit of both.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, I don't remember what tip we're on. I think I'm never good at counting these tips, but I think that's 3, right? Is that the third? Is it on the third one?
I believe so. Oh yes. So one of them is being creative with friends and family. So one thing I've been creative with is, because like in this day and age of quarantining, which has been extended, by the way, to July, to end of July, mid-July. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
So, like, things I've been doing, just because in the first 2-3 weeks, I was Skyping like 2 or 3 friends a day. I was going crazy. It was like, I can't believe I didn't have to do it. I like to go on walks while I'm Skyping. I like to cook while I'm Skyping. Or, like, I know, like, when I would Skype someone, like, the second or third time, you're so comfortable. I'm, like, cooking and I'm, like, cleaning while I'm Skyping with someone. It's like, hey, you're in my world right now. Like, you know, I'm not going to, not as, like, as what's the word? Professional, or like at an arm's length is what it is the first time. It's like second or third date. It's like whatever.
You're like, come with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're like taking them while, like you're balancing them on different things. But it's weird. It's like you feel so personal to someone. It's like this space. And even actually these casting director workshops I've been doing, it's funny because you're in their bedroom sometimes, and you can see someone's foot in the background, like a dog. You're in someone's life, and I think this time is nice because it's making everything seem more personal to each other, because we're all like letting each other into our own house, into our homes, and into our space, and it's kind of nice.
And you can spend more time in your space, which is kind of what I'm loving. You know, like like it's just kind of like, oh man, I really love my house, and like when I come home to it, I'm just like, you know, it's just nice to have that feeling kind of all day long. You know, you're working, but you're comfy. You're wearing comfy pants, but yeah, I love that. So
I'm wearing comfy pants.
Yeah, me too.
I can show my knee. Comfy knee.
So I guess like the third tip, you would say like kind of like to be more creative, you reach out to friends and family via Skype now.
Yes, exactly. Or like, and then also ways of doing that in a creative way too. Or sometimes I'm driving and I'm Skyping, and I've got them in my little iPhone holder.
Like,
I mean, I've done that a bunch.
I know.
So
I think I've been on when you're driving and you're like, hey, Mom!
all the time. I always Skype my parents. Actually, my favorite place to Skype my parents is sometimes while driving. It's like if it's a long drive and I know it's going to be a long talk. I don't know. I'm big about. I know multitasking isn't the best, but I like multitasking because it, if I could Skype somebody for an hour, or I could Skype and drive home, and I'm literally, killing two birds with one stone. So I like that sometimes, especially because I do jam so much into my day. I never get to everything I want, so I always try to condense things sometimes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And you're like the queen of time management. So I know that, like, and you use every minute, every like second, like in a way that's like creative and that you're going after your goals. So like the way you tie people in for that is great. Okay, so that was your third tip. What's your fourth tip?
Is it only fourth? Okay. Let me have a look at my list. I feel like this is my fifth. This is my fifth one.
Oh, is this your fifth one? Oh.
I did songwriting, acting, like home, and cleaning, right? Friends, cleaning. This is definitely fifth. This is my fifth.
This is...
Yes, okay. So my fifth tip is how to creatively keep your mind and your focus and your mindset strong and positive. And for me, I like to definitely say what I'm grateful for every day. Like if I remember, or if I'm feeling crap, I do that. So it's like today, I'm grateful that like I'm getting unemployment. I'm grateful that it's a beautiful day. I'm in LA. I've got a green card. That I've got all these opportunities. I'm talking to you, and like got so many amazing things in my life. So that already I feel better. Another thing is, and I did this course that talked about this, is forgiveness. So I realized that I am pretty feisty. Like sometimes things annoy me, and maybe more than they did. I don't know, but like if someone or something annoys me, I feel this like in me. I'm like, oh, it's so annoying. And then I realized that like the only way to get over that is to forgive them and yourself for reacting, because it's coming from a reactive place, and sometimes I can't help feeling a certain way, but then it's like that's not me, that's my reactive self, because I've either I've got my period, or I'm just tired, or they say something that hurts my ego, and I know it's my ego, so I recognize that. But then the best way to like release that dark energy, that heavy energy, is to like go through a set of exercises that like help to forgive them, and then forgive myself for just reacting, and also forgive myself for feeling bad about it, because I'm just being a human, really. Like everybody feels that way.
It's definitely hard. I feel like as a creative, it's hard to be in a creative mind space when you're like in a negative space as well. It's very hard to do both. Like sometimes you can use those negative emotions through songwriting or through whatever your art is, but overall, like it's hard to create when you're kind of in a negative mind space. So like making sure that your like mind and your body is like is feeling happy or feeling with good emotions, that is a really good place to start for like how do you create good art if you're not good yourself, So
yeah, exactly. It's like I feel like one of the biggest burdens to an artist is baggage, because it's almost art is such a spiritual thing, and if you've got baggage that's clouding you being able to access your like higher self or God or whatever where you're getting your inspiration from, then you won't be able to be as creative. You'll physically and mentally be like depressed or whatever.
Yeah.
To say another thing which I think is super important and is to make like clear decisions, because I feel like if you make a lot of non-decisions, like maybe or like oh like let me think about it, it's like or gray whatever, it's like then that number one, it's like a decision unmade, so it's like a dark uncertain energy, or it's using up your mind space because you need to come to a decision. And then I've heard as well, the quicker someone makes decisions, the more successful they are, because they're a yes action person. So you're like making action. I'm gonna rent the apartment. Like you will take more steps further in your life and career because you're actually saying yes and moving forward more than maybe, and you're just kind of like moving ahead 2 steps instead of 10 steps because you've actually said yes.
Yeah.
And even if it's wrong, like how you moved again, I've realized sometimes you may do something that's wrong, but it actually propels you in the right direction because at least you did something. Like for example, say if there's an acting class, which I don't feel as strongly about, but I wouldn't be where I am now moving on to something else if I hadn't done that in the first place. So it kind of just spirals on. So To just keep saying yes.
That totally makes sense, because if you're like in a place where like, I want to start improvisation, maybe, I don't know, or I want to start drawing, I don't know, maybe, and I'm never going to make my first step, and you're constantly in that battle of like, I don't know, maybe, instead of saying, no, I don't want to do that, or yes, I want to do that. I think no is also very powerful too, was what I've learned, like, for myself recently, is like, no is really powerful, because when you say no for something, it actually opens up doors, just like you say yes to something.
Yeah.
So like but you have to make a decision. You can't just wait on it all the time. So I love that tip, Emily. Be decisive. Be clear-minded when you make those decisions. Those are great tips.
Yeah, and that's so true what you're saying about saying no does create room. For example, if you're dating the wrong guy, then by saying no to them, then you actually create room to meet the right person. Or jobs, you might be at a bad job. You say no to that job, you'll attract something else. And it just energetically and physically clears the space to attract more things. And I truly believe like the universe gives you what it wants. Like if you're like, I want to have a boyfriend, or I want to have a new job, both things have come like literally, but sometimes within the day. I've literally like I've messaged someone and then now they're my boyfriend, like my boyfriend now, or like I want a new job, and then suddenly I have a job interview the next day, but because I just put it out there. So like it's really strong, and decisiveness is such an important thing, and not being scared of lack or being scared of without, because I feel like the universe always gives you what you need. So say if I break up with someone, or I leave a job, or I leave a working relationship, that something else will come along.
Yeah.
So it's not being scared of that specific form, like, because that role will be filled by another form eventually. Yeah. If that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. I love that tip. Those are so good. We could talk literally forever on all of those tips, but I know you actually have an acting class to go to, right?
I do. It's in like 5 minutes.
So that's so exciting. So where can all these lovely people find you and find more information about you and what you're doing? You're doing so much, so please let us know. Where can we find you?
Yeah, so I am on all the social media things. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is at Emily Coupe, which is Emily, then Coupe. Then my Facebook is Emily Mei Feng, which is MEIFENG, then Coupe, COUPE. Then my website is www.emilycoupe.com. And they're the main ones. And right now I'm also writing and recording a couple new singles I'm going to release. Hopefully they'll be done by the end of the quarantine. I'm sure they will, because it will keep going till next year. Which is so sad. So yeah, I'm working on that, and they should be out soon. I've got 4 options. I'm going to narrow them down to my top 2, then record those. So I have my guitars right now. I'm actually recording on Logic. It's like my mic's here. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can show you. It's like, I don't know. I want to show you. It's up there.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like all attached. So my goal today was to record another one. So anyways,
nice.
That's been fun.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Okay, well, that's awesome. Thank you again for being on the show. I really appreciate you jumping on, and even in your crazy schedule, and you're doing so much awesome things. So I want everyone to know who you are, and
thank you.
Listen to your music, follow you. But yeah, thank you so much for being on, and everyone, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more of this, just subscribe and let me know who you want to have on next. Okay, thanks.